Hello there lovely people, it's Alex from Nintendo Life here, and today we're going to be taking a close look at Mario Kart 8's second DLC pack, at last! This video is going to cover everything. We're going to be covering 200cc mode, the new characters, the new vehicle parts, and of course most importantly, the new courses. Also going to mention the amiibo costumes in passing, but not in any great detail because it's basically the same to what we saw before, but with more characters. So, let's get cracking, and to go in reverse order to the way I read them out, let's start off with the courses. I'm going to keep these fairly concise and short, so let's start off with Animal Crossing. Wow, what a lovely representation of the series. Honestly, it's sublime and fantastic. There are 4 different seasons that you can experience, all with subtle differences here and there, and if you're a fan of the Animal Crossing series, you're going to see lots and lots to like, and indeed recognise. For all you F-Zero fans out there, Big Blue. Yes, another F-Zero track. Colour me surprised. This thing is one long track like Mount Wario, so you've just got it split into sections rather than having laps, and as such, it is absolutely enormous, and it's such a fantastic thrill. It's pretty much all downhill, all anti-gravity. There are flowing water sections. Honestly, doing that in 200cc, it's mind-blowing. It's about as close as we're going to get to an F-Zero game in the near future, as far as I know, which is a pity, but at least we have this. Super Bell Subway. Now, this is a new one, and it does not disappoint. As you might imagine, you're driving around a subway or underground station if you're from the UK like me, and basically that's about it. You're just driving through a load of tunnels, but there are trains there. So think Toad's Turnpike, but with trains, and you can go on top of the trains and you can do tricks off. It's so satisfying, it's so cool, particularly in 200. Wild Woods. Now, wild probably isn't the operative term. This is one of the most relaxing tracks in the DLC pack. You'll be racing around tree branches and up and down things and across rivers with lily pads which have boosts on them. You'll be jumping across massive gaps. You'll be seeing all these tree houses populated by Shy Guys and Toads. It's a lovely, lovely little track. Not all that difficult, but it is massively enjoyable. The long-awaited Baby Park. Now, there were so many people who really wanted to see this come back, and I can understand why. The simplicity of the track just makes it so memorable. You get 7 laps to complete. It's all anti-gravity, which means that despite the fact that it's completely flat, you need to bump into people if you want to get those extra boosts, or indeed bump into people if you want to see them career straight into a wall, particularly when you're doing the faster speeds. It's a fantastic, darling little track, and it is really quite unique in its simplicity and the fact that there are 7 laps. Seriously, just wait and give it a go. It's difficult to describe. Cheeseland. This comes from Super Circuit, which not many people that I know of have actually played, but it was basically on the Game Boy Advance and everything was flat. However, they have seriously upped their game with this one. It's not ultra dynamic, but it is significantly more so than the original. Also, the whole thing is slippery because it's made of cheese. Apparently that's a thing. There are loads of shortcuts, big ramps, little divots in the road. There are actually like holes in cheese that you can do tricks out of. Loads to love, although you will have to get used to the slidey mechanics and it can be a bit frustrating at times. Now, the next track goes by 2 different names, Koopa City and indeed Neo Bowser City if you live in the Americas. It comes from the 3DS's Mario Kart 7, and it's sort of a bit of a love-hate track. It's a bit Marmite, if you like. Lots of tight corners, slippery road surfaces in areas, lots of places to fall off. It's got the aesthetic. It is difficult, but it's not as difficult as the original, I'd have to say. It may be just because I'm better at Mario Kart full stop now, but it does feel a little bit more forgiving, which is not a bad thing because that thing was a devil on the 3DS. And lastly, the Toy Story of Mario Kart 8 tracks, Ribbon Road from the GBA again has come back, but again it's not all flat. You literally race around a massive ribbon and you're surrounded by all of these toys because it takes place basically in a child's bedroom. It's wonderful, fantastic. It feels like Micro Machines if you've ever played that. The real draw of this track comes from the charm and aesthetic. I mean, it's a fairly enjoyable track, you know, just by itself, but you're going to be looking at the sides more than you'll actually be looking at the road, and keep an eye out for those couple of yarn Yoshi. So that's the most important part out of the way. Now I'm going to speak very briefly about the characters, because at the end of the day, they are just characters, and they don't alter the game enormously, but it's still worth mentioning them. Villager comes in 2 flavours, I mentioned so famously, male and female. You've got Isabelle as well. Now I believe they're all roughly the same weight class. I don't know for sure because I didn't get that much time to have a go with them, but they feel around about sort of middleweight. They fit the Mario Kart aesthetic perfectly, and they are so lovely and charming to look at. Seriously, Isabelle is absolutely adorable. Their little animations will just melt your heart. And of course, who could forget Dry Bowser? Now this is the epitome of awesome. Seriously, he looks utterly fantastic. Every time he does a boost, the cracks on his back glow orange. It looks amazing. As you imagine, this guy is heavy, heavy, heavy. So, if you like honest to goodness, no nonsense, heavy people with heavy vehicles, this could be the guy for you. Now the vehicles. The standout vehicle for me, despite the fact that the Bonemaster looks amazing, has to be the P-Wing, just simply because it's so cool. Just look at it. Obviously it's based on the P-Wing from Super Mario Bros. 3, but of course there is some artistic license going on in there, but it just looks fantastic. There's also the City Tripper and the Streetle to represent Animal Crossing, and they're pretty cool as well. I mean, the Streetle is absolutely amazing because when you go into anti-gravity, the little wings open. Oh, it's so cool. All 4 of these vehicles are pretty cool. Not all of them are absolutely amazing, but they're pretty good, and I like them all. Now, 200cc mode. What does it feel like to play? Oh my goodness. Do you remember the first time you played Mario Kart 8 when you were slamming into walls and careering around corners completely terribly? It's kind of like that. Seriously, everything is so fast, you're going to have to completely rethink everything you know about Mario Kart 8. I mean, you're going to have to learn where the brake button is, which, seriously, I'm not telling a lie, many people at the preview event I went to didn't know what the brake button was. In case you didn't know as well, it's the B button. This one. I think the most exciting thing about 200cc mode is the fact that it opens up many more characters as being viable if you're really into your Mario Kart, because the lighter characters, the slower characters with better handling, didn't really have much of a chance because you could just get around any corner basically if you drifted correctly, but that is not the case now. You have to watch your speed, you have to drift properly, and if you're using a very fast vehicle, you will have to brake. So in 200cc mode, it's not all about speed. You have to really think, am I going to get the handling that I require from this vehicle lineup? So you're going to have to rethink everything. Seriously, it's amazing. You can also unlock new amiibo costumes by scanning some of the new amiibo in. Told you I'd mention it. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, why don't you turn on 200cc mode and go careening straight into that subscribe button, and be sure to check out NintendoLife.com for all sorts of lovely Nintendo related content. Thank you again for watching. Bye bye.